Somebody's got some money to spend. Tendering is the process where they decide who they're going to spend it with. People often think that tendering is just about putting in the cheapest bid, but it's not necessarily. They investigate it and look for what's going to be the best value for them, how does it meet their strategic objectives, and is the contract going to be carried out successfully? Well, the benefits of tendering are that you get access to some contracts that you wouldn't get access to otherwise, and there's billions of pounds that are spent by the public sector and by large private sector organisations in the UK.
If you're in a very small business, a very small organisation, it can just feel so daunting to be giving, what can seem a huge amount of time over to this bid process. But if you can get those resources right and really evaluate at the very beginning which are the ones that are going to be most worth going for, and then you can start to evaluate whether that's a good investment of your time before you even start.
Get in contact with the buyer if you're unclear about any of the questions or if there's any ambiguity around any of the questions. You won't be looked down upon for doing that. I think actually it's quite the opposite.
Organisations that are new to bidding believe that there's a very big chasm between them and the buyer, and actually engage with the buyer, ask questions, find out what the project's about, really get to understand it, because that's how you'll put together the best answer and the best set of answers and ultimately the best bid.
So you really need to think about what makes your bid stand out, and having a concise, well-drafted response is a really good way of getting to the top of the pile, as it were.
What's that 20% of information that adds 80% of the value? So maybe there's a killer sentence where you getting that really right is going to be the thing that really resonates with people. At the end of the day, it's a numbers game. So if you can really focus on the bits where there's 30 marks available rather than the bits where there's 2 or 3 marks available, those are the things that are going to add impact and help you to get the right result.
It is ultimately quite a lonely pursuit. It does come down to one person sitting there late at night putting a bid together. But if you can engage with people that can probably do a better job than you can in some areas, finance experts, HR people, graphic designers, copywriters, those sorts of people. And they don't have to be people in your workplace, they can be people that you just know, that are in your family. So use them, and you'll find that you'll be doing far less on it. You'll probably have a better quality bid as a result.
Make your organisation prepared and your team prepared for any bids that may be coming up and any contract opportunities that may be coming up. Make sure you've got your policy and processes in place. Make sure you've actually identified the resources that you need to respond to the bid, but also, more importantly, the resources you're going to need to actually run the contract if you were successful.
Your first tender is your hardest tender to do, because you have to build content pretty much from the ground up. Once you've done that, it does get easier, because of course in most sectors you tend to get asked the same questions over and over again on each bid. It is a bit of a beauty parade, but it does come down to just following some simple rules and guidelines for managing your time properly, answering the question properly, being clear and concise about what your offering is and that sort of thing, and putting enough time aside to do it, because it's a very time-consuming process.